Quarantine sucks.
Again.
Through the past 2 months, the whole entire country, the whole entire world has been hit with quarantine, giving people the best excuse to sit their asses on the couch, eat some popcorn, drink an energy drink, and watch movies. And over the past, 2-3 months of quarantine, I've watched 50 plus movies. Movies ranging from the A plus masterpieces to movies that my eyes bled in the middle of watching. During quarantine, like I said, I've watched so many movies, and today I'm giving you 10 movies to watch during quarantine. If you haven't seen, or even if you have seen, movies you might have forgot about. Most of these movies are going to be more underrated movies, because if I did the very best movies I've watched, it would just be a boring list, and I just have my favorite movies of all time, because I've watched them all. But I'm going to give you some underrated picks throughout this movie, and how I'm going to do this list is in every single spot is going to be a genre of movie. You guys will get the scheme as we get started with it. So, let's get going. Starting off, in my number 10, we're going to go with the genre of horror movie. Trick or Treat, I've seen Chris Tuckman recommend hundreds of times, and yes, it's in the packaging, but I actually rented this on Prime a little bit ago, and I watched it, and it's actually a pretty solid horror movie. Maybe not the best horror movie, but it's definitely... It kind of reminds me of like the B-rate version of The Strangers. I don't know why, but very, very good movie, and I really enjoyed it, and I could not recommend this enough. Coming in at number 9 movie is going to be the only Sandra Bullock action movie you should watch, Speed. Not talking about Heat, we're talking about Speed. The basic plot of Speed is Keanu Reeves, one of the best action heroes of all time, and Sandra Bullock are stuck in a bus, not being able to go 50 miles an hour or else it'll explode. I mean, just talk about a badass plot. And I just absolutely enjoyed this movie. I actually watched it for the first time during quarantine, and the soundtrack is super epic in this movie. I don't know why. I really enjoy the soundtrack. And I got this on sale at Amazon, so check it out. In our number 7 spot, we're going to go with a heist movie. Now, this is not a genre of movie, but it is one of my favorite genres of movie. And my personal favorite, and one of the not underrated ones, but one everyone should watch, is Town. The nun scene is one of the best action movie scenes in the history of movies. I absolutely love Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner in this movie. And also, Rebecca Hall's pretty good in this film, too. And just, my personal favorite Ben Affleck film. Yes, I like this more than Good Will Hunting. And in 4K, it looks really solid, too. Go watch this movie. Coming in at my number 6, I actually have 2 movies. One I do not own, and the other I do own. Let's talk about the one that I'm not going to put on the list. I'm going to go with Zoolander, though. Zoolander was a hilarious movie. It's probably my favorite Ben Stiller movie besides, like, Tropic Thunder. And Will Ferrell, with his curls in the movie, and the part where the mermaid commercial is going on, and he's saying, "Merman!" and he's in the mines. It's just so funny. You can tell Ben Stiller had a lot of fun with this movie. But the movie I'm going to go with for comedy is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated comedy movies of all time. It stars Will Ferrell and Chris Canton, and it's A Night at the Roxbury. This movie is currently on Prime for free, and it's the main reason I do not own this Blu-ray. But this movie is just so funny. This isn't the type of movie where it's just going to throw jokes at you. When you listen and when you watch this movie, it's just so hilarious. And Will Ferrell, his delirious, stupid performance is amazing, and Chris Kattan is the perfect I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he's the perfect counterpart to him, as he's a little more serious, but he's also stupid his own way. And the scene where Will Ferrell's at his own wedding and he starts flirting with one of the bridesmaids right as he's gonna get married, it gets me every time. Go check out Night at the Roxbury right now. At number 6, we're going to be going with a war film. Arguably my favorite war film of all time is Sam Mendes' 1917. Yes, it just came out last year, and in 4K it looks amazing. The way they did this movie, as a lot of you will probably know, is they did a one tracking shot to make it seem like this whole movie was taken in one take. It's not a word. I'm emotionally invested with the character, going with him on his entire journey through World War One. There is one flaw I have with this movie, and it's actually the fact that it's called 1917, but the events that actually happened in this movie actually happened in 1914, but it's a stupid little thing. And the actual movie is just amazing, and it's just, in my opinion, one of the my favorite directed movie of last year. And there's also, in the ending, there's a big emotional punch that the whole movie's kind of based around, his whole mission's kind of based around what happens at the end. And it almost made me have a tear. And it probably did. Go check out 1917. Go check it out. Starting off my top 5, we're going to go with the genre of thriller. And my personal favorite thriller movie, and this might not be exactly a thriller, but in IMDb it's classified, its #1 genre is a thriller, The Prestige. Actually, take that back. This is sort of a thriller movie. And this is my personal favorite Hugh Jackman performance behind maybe Prisoners or Logan. And Christian Bale's excellent in this movie. And just seeing these two psychopaths, because yes, they are psychopaths, what they'll do for their profession when it's not even that big of a profession, it just really goes to show you when you get addicted to something, you'll do anything for it, as shown in this movie. And this also has some sci-fi elements to it when you watch the movie. And Scarlett Johansson, not really in the movie, but she does her part pretty well. Maybe my most underrated film of all time as well. Christopher Nolan, you're a freaking genius. Coming in at my number 4 is a Stephen Sommers The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser. Definitely my favorite Brendan Fraser film, behind maybe Bedazzled. That's also a very good movie. This movie copies the hell out of Indiana Jones, and I'll admit that. And I'm maybe one of the biggest Indiana Jones fans in the world. My personal favorite is Steven Spielberg stuff. But this movie, it's such a good adventure film, and I just really actually dig the plot of this movie. And it's probably my favorite guilty pleasure movie of all time. And yes, it copies a lot of the plots, a lot of the elements, a lot of the directing from Indiana Jones, but it is its own film. So go check The Mummy out. Before I get into my top 3 list, if you're enjoying this video, please consider clicking that subscribe button and comment down below the best movies you've watched during quarantine, because I'm interested too to see what you guys have to say. And maybe I'll review a couple of the movies that get the most likes down there, so go ahead and comment right now. Kicking off my top 3, I'm going to be going with a mob boss film, or just a mob film in general. These are some of my favorite movies of all time, with Goodfellas, The Godfather, Scarface, all those. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time. But we're going to be going with a really underrated one, and one directed by Martin Scorsese, who in my opinion has the best mob boss film in Goodfellas, Casino. It stars Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, basically doing Goodfellas, but in a casino environment. And I absolutely love this movie. The first time I watched it, I didn't give it too much of a chance, just because I saw the runtime. And the runtime in a lot of Martin Scorsese films might be a little bit intimidating, but once you get into them, I promise you will love these films. And this, I think I enjoyed Joe Pesci's performance in this movie a little bit more than in Goodfellas, as he's just messing with Robert De Niro so much, and I enjoy that so much, and it's really funny to see. And also, Robert De Niro's love story in this movie, I also dig. Coming in at my number 2 is one of my actual favorite genres of all time, drama. Now, I do not own this movie on Blu-ray, but it is also currently on Prime as is Night at the Roxbury, Warrior. Now, if you watch any Sean Chandler video, basically, you will eventually see him talk about Warrior. I never watched this movie before he recommended it to me in one of the videos I watched, and I love this film. I like this film more than Creed. I almost like this film more than Rocky. I do not like it more than Rocky. Don't hate on me. But Tom Hardy's performance in this film is just amazing. And while you may think this is a sports film, and yes, the last hour to half hour of this movie is a sports film, but really this movie is about just how separated and how messed up this family is, and just how messed up the mind of Tom Hardy's character is. And it's really emotional, and I cried at the ending of this movie, and I was bawling crying. Go check out Warrior. Coming in my number one movie, the number one movie I've watched during quarantine, we're gonna go with the movie Kick-Ass. Now, I almost went with Hellboy here. My thought process was, do I go with the more serious, more tense, more dark comic book movie, or do I go with the more lighthearted, funny, and still has heartfelt moments of it and serious moments, Kick-Ass? The breaking point was Nicolas Cage's fake Batman. I think it's absolutely hilarious, and this is probably maybe the funniest comic book movie of all time, and I really enjoy, like, Mark Strong and Aaron Johnson in these films is really good as well. And also you got a young, I don't know how to say her name, Chloe Grace Moretz. Go check out Kick-Ass. the first time I ever watched this film, I didn't really want to watch it because seeing the cover, seeing the things, it just looked like a stupid, not gonna be serious comic book movie, which is what I'm a fan of. Same with Deadpool. Then I watched them and they became in my top 10 comic book movies of all time. And yeah, go check out Kick-Ass. That is gonna wrap up this video. I just gave you 10 recommendations to watch during quarantine. Like I said, comment down below any others you had. If you enjoyed this video, go check out my my full Blu-ray collection in the link in the description. I hope all of you guys have a great day, great rest of your day, and as always, keep watching movies.